Synthetic Electron 3D channel. If you've been following the channel for a while, this may bring back some memories. But if you're new or just need a refresher, by the end of this video you'll understand why you may or may not want to replace your Centauri Carbon's toolhead cover. We'll also talk about some of the differences between the OEM tool cover as well as version 1 and version 2 of my toolhead covers. While it can be a great way to customize your 3D printer, replacement of the toolhead cover is actually more about function and longevity of your printer. Toolhead weight is a factor in vertical fine artifacts or VFAs, as well as ghosting or ringing. While not the only factor, toolhead weight reduction can enable your printer to print faster before these artifacts become a big issue. Weight reduction in the toolhead will also result in less wear and tear on your Core XY motion system or kinematic system. An aftermarket or printable toolhead cover may also offer additional features such as enhanced airflow or increased access to the toolhead. So which features does the version 2 SE3D toolhead cover address? Here's a version 1 cover in HTPLA that I used for one of my previous videos. There was one common problem that I think many people experienced: broken pins, even when you printed at an angle. And, let's be honest, they were kind of awkward to use anyway. Speaking of pins, these fan pins were really being asked to do too much in a 3D printed part. Then there's the weight, both of the OEM cover as well as the version 1 cover. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Other issues that I experienced were broken fan grills, useless fan lead holder, as well as, this awkward hole for the tensioner. It looks weird. And the channel for the hot end, not large enough. So what did I do about it? For the fan grill, I added a vertical component that is not susceptible to the Z-axis weakness, at least not so much as these individual thin pins. For the fan pins, I reworked how the fan is actually secured, converting the pins to stubby location pins only, then adding some more robust structures, and then a secondary part to secure the fan. Then I squared off the top of the tensioner adjustment hole, and it seems to print cleaner. And I think it looks better, but let me know in the comments what you think. Then there's that useless fan lead holder. But something needed to be there so the fan lead wouldn't get down in the extruder wheel and result in a very disturbing sound coming from your printer. This ramp is turning out to be a lot more useful for that purpose. I also reduced the bulk at the top of the cover. This resulted in about 3 millimeters of height loss, but also opened it up for better ventilation and access at the top. Then there's that narrow channel for the hot end, which was restricting visibility. That's in part due to needing a more robust wall for the 3D printing process, but I did what I could and visibility is significantly enhanced. Slicer settings for Polymaker ASA and HTPLA are included. The primary enhancements are a slightly reduced outer wall print speed as well as layer height. To save weight, I did what I like to call 1.5 walls, which is a single wall with an alternate extra wall. I attempted to get away with a 5% gyroid infill, but the loss of quality was not worth the 1 gram of material that I would have saved over the 7.5% sparse infill that I finally settled on. And from personal experience, I custom painted the support regions to minimize the chance of breaking the model while removing it from the plate and removing the support material. So what kind of weight savings are we looking at? First, let's weigh some of the OEM parts. Here's the back of the cover, 21.5 grams. By the way, in case you're not aware, the OEM cover uses 3 parts, but both versions of my cover use 2 parts. Looks like we've settled on 22.3 grams for the middle part of the OEM cover. Then we have the front minus the fan and the screws at 38.3 grams. The OEM fan weighs in at 35.3 grams. For reference, even though we don't use them with the SE3D cover, here are the OEM fan screws coming in at over 1.3 grams. With the OEM cover as baseline, Here we have version 1 in ASA. The back is 15.1, the front is 44.2. Let's take a look at how version 2 stacks up compared to its predecessors. This is also ASA at just around 10.9 grams. Now the front is 31 grams. Now we can't forget to add in the fan retainer part at 3.1 grams. Now, last and least, the fan screws that I'm using with the fan retainer, weighing in at a massive 160 milligrams or so. Now, I did run out of HTPLA on this project, so I don't have a lot of parts, but I was able to print one set. So let's take a look at the back, and that comes in at 14 grams, and then the front, which comes in at a whopping 40.1 grams. That makes this lighter than version 1's ASA print. Not too bad. Looking at the new pins on an actual model here, they're very short, they're solid, and they're not being asked to secure the fan other than locating it. With this particular configuration, they're unlikely to break easily, and print orientation is less important. The fan goes in the same way as the previous version and more or less like the OEM version. The main difference is the retainer plate that needs to be installed along with the smaller screws. But wait, there's more. Last time around, people wanted customization options. Many of the remixes were simply changes to the fan grill or to the logo. So I decided I'd make proper modular parts for this purpose. There's an insert for the vent on top and one for the fan grill up front. These are just examples to get the community started, and I will provide step files for these as well. I look forward to seeing the designs that you come up with. Now let's run through the installation process real quick. Unless you've never done this before, it should be a fairly straightforward process, nothing new and shocking here. I did eliminate those alignment pins in favor of just using the original screws, so keep that in mind. I did want to show you how the little ramp on the side works to assist in keeping the fan extension out of the extruder wheel. You will basically want to connect the fan like normal and then tuck the wires over to the left hand side of the case and kind of poke it up in there before you slide it on the front. Now, it's not perfect. It won't prevent the extension from going down there every time if you're not paying attention, but now at least there's more room for you to kind of tuck it in there with a tool after the front of the case is on. Then, once you've got it situated on the front, it's just a matter of installing the original OEM screws, the same way you would with the middle portion of the OEM cover. And that's basically it, except for the fact that you will want to be sure to run input shaping once you're done. With the lighter tool head, input shaping is actually going to be more effective, so you won't want to forget that step. Now, you should expect to have cleaner and faster prints. The better ventilation should allow for fewer jams, especially for those primarily printing PLA. Access to the top of the tool head is easier, and you'll be able to adjust the tensioner on the extruder without removing the cover. But let's get some things out of the way because I know the questions will come up. Please don't use PLA for this cover, unless it's Polymaker HT PLA. I've tested that myself and I know that it can withstand the heat. In general, ASA is going to be the best all-around material due to lightweight, heat resistance, and relative ease of printing compared to, say, materials like ABS and polycarbonate. Also, you will want to avoid PETG for the cover itself. PETG just won't handle the heat long term. PETG would actually make a great material for the inserts on the cover though. The inserts are great for spool remnants and take very little material. So if you have anything lying around, you want to print some different colors, that's a great option. I'm sure that I subconsciously took inspiration from the remixes to version 1. I was truly impressed with the creativity and innovation that I saw around the first version of my model. Again, I can't wait to see what the community does with this. A printables link to the 3MF and step files will be in the description. That wraps this video up, but if this was helpful or entertaining, consider clicking that like button or consider subscribing and enabling notifications so you don't miss future videos. If you'd like to support more projects like this going forward, consider becoming a YouTube member, a patron, or a Printables Club member. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.